The lights just went out. No warning, no explanation, just click. Everything's dead. Your fridge, your phone, your fancy Wi-Fi router that never worked anyway. Normally, you'd wait a few minutes, maybe curse the power company and scroll memes to pass the time. But this time, no internet, no water coming out of the tap, no temporary outage message. This isn't a hiccup. This isn't just wait a few hours. This is different. I'm Captain Cabbage, and today I'm not giving you a list of tips. I'm showing you what life would really look like after a permanent blackout. And fair warning, it's not pretty. Chapter 1. Denial. At first, it feels like an inconvenience. You find the good flashlight and that drawer of rubber bands and orphan screws. Candles come out, board games appear like relics from a museum exhibit titled Life Before Screens. Someone on your street suggests a cookout so the meat doesn't go to waste. It feels neighborly, almost festive. You tell yourself the great is resilient and always comes back. Even when it doesn't, there's always a generator somewhere, a repair truck eventually, a notification that says, we're working on it. You keep checking your dead phone as if it might resurrect out of guilt. Your car radio still works, powered by its own battery. Stations cling on with backup generators, repeating the same words, temporary, local, please remain calm. But generators need fuel, and fuel doesn't last forever. One by one, the voices fade into static. You wait for the city lights that never arrive. Night falls like a curtain instead. Thick, heavy, absolute. Morning doesn't fix it. The store doors stay locked, work servers stay down, your car's gas gauge suddenly looks like a countdown. You promise yourself you'll only run it for a few minutes. You're still in denial, just with less ice cream.
Chapter 2. Chaos. Order unravels faster than anyone expects. Grocery stores crack open like piñatas. First, it's lines and cash-only sales. Then it's frantic hands and gutted shelves. The dairy aisle warms. The meat turns gray. Freezers melt into puddles. Managers try to calm crowds until they realize there's nothing left to control. ATMs are dead. Card readers blink like stunned insects. You could wave a platinum card all day and get fewer calories than a dandelion. Cash still works for a moment until it doesn't. In a world without electricity, money is just paper with good self-esteem. Gas stations become shrines to a dead god. The pumps are statues, the prices meaningless artifacts. A few stations hand pump for emergency vehicles, then the jerry cans vanish, then the fuel, then the patience. You keep one eye on your car's gauge and the other on the mob trying to remember siphoning tips from YouTube they can't watch. Emergency services stretch themselves thin. Police juggle calls. Firefighters arrive only when water pressure cooperates. Hospitals run generators until they don't. Machines that once sang in ICUs fall silent, and nobody's filming because nothing works to film it. Traffic snarls into monuments of metal. Intersections turn into arguments. The polite wait, the desperate surge. Fender benders become permanent roadblocks. Abandoned cars pile up, mute reminders of how fragile mobility really was. And the nights, they're not festive anymore. The barbecue smell fades, replaced by the sour-sweet scent of rot. Flashlight beams shrink. Doors lock earlier. Rumors spread like sparks. An EMP, a solar flare, sabotage, the reset. Pick your apocalypse. The effect is the same. This isn't Mad Max. There's no soundtrack, and nobody looks cool. It's sweat, confusion, and the creeping realization of how much your life depended on invisible wires.
Chapter 3. Scarcity. Your fridge is now a tomb for bad decisions. That artisanal sauce you never used? Gone. The salad mix? Liquid regret. The Tupperware marked "Do Not Eat" becomes prophecy. You triage your pantry like a battlefield medic. Perishables first, then the weird stuff, then cans, then hope. Water turns from background noise to obsession. Faucets cough air. Toilets flush once out of sheer stubbornness, then fall silent. People drag buckets from fountains. Rain becomes treasure. The clever rig gutters with pots and pans. The desperate cup puddles with shaking hands. And then comes the sickness. Stomach cramps, coughs, the endless walk to the bushes. You understand why engineers once saved more lives than kings. Without treatment plants, safe water becomes a gamble. Trash stops being invisible. It grows into geography. Piles behind stores, then behind homes. Bags split, flies swarm, rats campaign for office. You learn the first rule of post-electric life. Anything you don't manage will soon manage you. Food math starts ruling your brain. A can of beans isn't dinner. It's 3 future dates with survival. Salt, oil, sugar, spices, suddenly priceless. A hot meal feels like civilization. A cold one feels like surrender. Cooking moves outdoors on improvised rigs of bricks, grates, and hope. Fire stays small, hidden, quick. Flame is warmth, but also smell. And smell is a signal. We're eating over here. You never thought you'd miss the background hum of a fridge, but silence has teeth. Chapter 4. Fear. Hunger sharpens fear, and the dark gives it room to grow. At first, theft is clumsy, a bike gone, a window broken. Desperation runs when shouted at, but desperation evolves. Soon, people watch, wait, and plan. The ones who always looked for angles now find plenty. You hear your first generator a few streets away, a smug, throbbing purr in the silence. It lasts a couple nights, then vanishes. Nobody asks why. Windows get covered. Candles move deep inside. Meals happen at odd hours to keep smells drifting unpredictably. Even laughter gets rationed. Joy is as noticeable as smoke. Movement shrinks. Neighborhoods become boundaries. Trips shorten to what you can see and return from quickly. Long sight lines feel like exposure. Predictable routines become risks. Weapons appear in crude forms: pipes, knives, bats, hammers. Not out of malice, but preparation. Nobody wants a fight, but nobody wants to be the one unprepared if it comes. The social contract frays. Some neighbors talk, not about sports, but about watches, signals, and backup plans. You don't need friendship, you need numbers. Others shut their doors and vanish into silence. Fear redraws the map, and you learn to listen not just for sounds, but for the silences that mean someone is out there listening too. Chapter 5. Adaptation. And then, slowly, survival starts looking like life. Morning routines appear. Someone boils water while someone else checks fences or scavenges wood. Kids gather kindling with faces that shouldn't look so serious. Days get marked in charcoal on a wall. Skills reveal themselves. The neighbor who fixed bikes now builds carts. The woman who mended clothes runs textiles. A nurse organizes a clinic with boiled tools and calm hands. Survival is chores, not heroics. Trade sneaks back in. A lighter for nails, salt for medicine. News traded like gold. Who has what? Which roads are blocked? What worked? What failed? Unspoken rules evolve. No fires at dusk, no hoarding water, no showing up empty-handed. Strange how quickly people relearn cooperation when the alternative costs more. Systems grow from scraps, rain catchments, compost heaps, gardens where lawns died. You learn seeds, soil, patience. Adaptation isn't triumph, it's acceptance. But from acceptance grows competence. Chapter 6. The New Normal. The old world fades into memory. The new one stops apologizing for itself. Cities hollow out. Survivors cluster into tight neighborhoods or scatter to rural patches. Food grows where it can. Livestock has a purpose again. Barter matures. Batteries for medicine, honey for trust, antibiotics as miracles. Alcohol is both morale and currency. Coffee becomes legend. Seasons dictate law. Summer means work, winter means strategy. Wood is worth as much as food. A leaky roof is not a nuisance, but a threat. Redundancy becomes a religion. 2 ways to start fire, 2 ways to filter water, 2 people who know each skill. You don't let your life rest on one fragile piece anymore. Culture mutates but survives. Kids play new games, songs get made from old rhythms, stories emerge, the raccoon battle, the miracle tomato harvest. The time someone discovered a stash of batteries. Schools sprout. Chalk lines on walls, lessons about letters, soap, and why clean water matters more than kings. Civilization limps forward, stubborn as weeds. You stop waiting for the old hum of electricity to return. Life now hums differently. Quieter, harder, but still alive. Chapter 7. Hope. And eventually, there's hope. The stars reclaim the sky. Whole galaxies paint themselves across the night, and you realize they were always there, just hidden by the glow you thought you needed. Food steadies, gardens grow, chickens cooperate. Someone finds apples, and cider makes a celebration that feels like civilization again. Festivals return, harvest feasts, planting days, gatherings where laughter doesn't need rationing. Grief stays, but it changes shape. The dead are remembered, not erased. Names are spoken, markers are made. Loss becomes a room you visit, not the house you live in. Hope proves itself as work, not wish. It's sharp tools, labeled seeds, extra water stored. It's showing up each day even when tomorrow threatens worse. And one morning, a child asks what a router is, and you realize you haven't said the word in months. You don't feel better, you feel steady, which in this world is better than better. The world didn't end, it changed its rules, and you learn to play by them. So that's what life might really look like after a permanent blackout. No gadgets, no safety nets, no second chances, just you, your wits, and the people you trust. It wouldn't be easy, it wouldn't be pretty, but survival never is. The question isn't whether humanity could adapt. The question is, would you? I'm Captain Cabbage, and I'll see you in the dark.